Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to On Writing, the first in our series of chats with people in the creative writing team. And today I have with me Emma Mackenzie. Hello, Emma.
Hello.
For those who don't know, I'm creative writing lead for Converge, and I teach on the main Converge creative writing classes. And Emma, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, so I'm a team leader within Converge and I run the Discovery Hub, but the other part of my life is I'm a writer, an artist, and I run the Connect to Nature creative writing class for Converge.
Excellent, and that's what we're here to talk about today, because although we're both teachers, we're writers first, yeah? And
yeah, absolutely.
That's how we can hopefully inspire you a bit and share with you our own writing practices. So how's lockdown been for you, Emma? How have you coped with writing in lockdown?
Lockdown's been very, very hectic. Obviously, I'm a key worker as well, so I support a lot of people through Converge. So writing practice, normally have a day a week to write in. I'm currently studying for a PhD, and that has not been happening so much since lockdown. It's been quite challenging.
Yeah. And what sort of thing are you writing for your PhD when you do get down to it?
So when I do get down to it, I'm exploring the way we can change our lives through narratives. A really good example of that is my Connect to Nature writing class, in terms of we can reframe thinking by using writing to channel our thoughts in a different direction. So rather than worrying about COVID, I'm hopefully getting everyone thinking about the natural world instead and all the beauty around them. So in a nutshell, that's what I'm looking into.
That's a lovely topic, isn't it? Considering you must have applied for the course months ago, long before this happened. So it's good that you've got that as your focus.
This has been an unexpected little add-on bonus that's come, but it will definitely be an extension to my PhD. The end of my PhD will hopefully be a novel reflecting the way that mental health affects us all, and a lot of it is thinking about how we think about our own lives and the decisions we choose to make, good or bad, and hopefully encouraging people for a more positive outcome.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So when you are writing, and hopefully as things settle down, you'll be able to do a bit more every week. What's your writing process? How do you go about it?
So my writing process, I need a lot of inspiration around me, and I think all artists thrive on other creativity. So it's going to sound really silly, but a lot of my writing process is thinking and not writing at all. So it might be going out for a beautiful walk, it might be spending time observing something. I have a lot of resources around me. I've got one here to show you. So this is a book I'm currently looking at, which is called Wood, and it's lots of beautiful slices of wood and all the patterns that someone's made prints with. But things like that I might choose to look at, and that will inspire thoughts. That's getting me thinking about the stories of trees and the life that a tree might lead. So it might also be reading novels and kind of looking at other writers' work and then trying to think about how I might use that as inspiration in my own work. So it's kind of one big melting pot of creativity. And I think if you feed your inner artist, it then feeds your writing.
That's so true, really true. I think you have to, I call it wall gathering. You have to go out and just pick up the little bits and pieces that inspire you and nourish yourself with them, don't you?
Absolutely.
And that's something you can do anytime, even when you are busy supporting people and looking after families and coping with all the pressures that are on us. You can still find those little moments as a writer to just observe the world around you and save that up for when you can put pen to paper.
Definitely. Yeah. The other thing that I do, I have a little notebook. This is the littlest I've ever had. I always have a handbag size notebook that I have take with me everywhere. This is brand new that I bought yesterday, so I just filled one. So I put a little leaf tucked in the front.
Lovely.
So with these notebooks, they come everywhere with me. So I might sketch down ideas, inspirations, press leaves, and whatever I find really. But you often find as a writer, the best things come to you at the most inopportune times when you don't have time to write. So I have a little notebook I take everywhere with me. And then I have a great big book that I write at home. So if I'm reading a book, I might jot quotes down in here and write things. I might sketch things out. But this is for my bigger ideas. And often I'll spend time, if I get a couple of hours at the laptop, I'll sit and blast out lots of notes, but starting with things that I've written from here is a really good way, because rather than just staring at that blank screen, if I use something that I can just start writing straight away, that will be more helpful. And then I get the words flowing, and then I can carry on.
It's brilliant. So you're kind of creating your own prompts, aren't you?
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So how are you going to get over this little slump, do you think, that you've had during lockdown? How are you going to get past that and get back on track?
Well, it's been a lot of rescheduling time and rethinking about kind of where I can fit things in. I think, you know, exactly as you were saying, kind of doing little bits every day rather than thinking, right, that's my day for writing. I think it's as and when it can happen. So there's a lot of readjustment, but I've recently signed up for a bit of mentoring with a good friend, and I've committed myself to 3 hours writing a week, because realistically, that's all I can manage at the moment.
Yeah.
A good person once said to me, for every goal you have, double the goal and half the goal and double the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's really true. Don't put too high expectations on yourself. I think if you set off with half the goal, then often once you get into it, you end up achieving the goal and more than that as well. So one of the other things I do, I have a beautiful big glass egg timer downstairs that lasts for an hour. So I tip my egg timer over and I think, right, I'll just write for that hour. And then once I get going, I often look up and the egg timer's run out long ago, and I found I've got into it. Lots of little tricks.
I like the idea about using an egg timer, because if you use the timer on your phone, it's a bit intrusive, isn't it? When your time's up, it buzzes at you and you're jarred out of whatever you're doing. Whereas if you actually don't have anywhere to go after you've done your writing, you can just keep going until somebody interrupts you if you want to, which is great.
That's exactly right. And it's just really beautiful to look at. And you aren't tempted to check your phone. Or sometimes I used to use the kitchen cooker timer, but then I'd be tempted to run into the kitchen and start making even more cups of tea than usual. So
and then you're back into life, and you know, it all goes out the window, doesn't it? Yeah, that's so true. I think there's so much good advice in what you've told us today. I think as having a modest goal, even just 10 minutes free writing a day can just keep your skills bubbling under, and then as you get the inspiration, the time to do more, you're ready. Whereas if you stop completely and don't do any writing in a week, then it's harder to start next time. So
yeah, absolutely. A top tip I have actually, because I love memoir writing, I love writing from real life experience. So one of the things I do, because I've often got my children, my family with me when I'm traveling and doing things, I can't just sit and write, but we have fun. I say, right, let's list 100 words to describe where we are now. And that can be really evocative, and we don't always get to 100, but actually when I then go back to write later on to describe a scene, those key words, just the textures, the sounds, the feeling of a place, will be such good fuel for remembering and coming back to as kind of touchstones for my writing.
That's a lovely idea, and it's worth remembering you don't have to write long complicated sentences to be doing writing. Writing a list of evocative words is writing.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's been lovely to talk to you today, Emma.
And you.
And I hope that other people would like to come along and share their tips. They'd be very welcome. Just drop me an email. And meanwhile, from me and Emma, happy writing. Bye for now.
Bye.